Here we go. First episode of the year. Season 1, Episode 1, titled Armed Bandits. Original air date, January 26, 1979. Written by Rod Amato. Directed by Guy Waldron. I might have that backwards. Maybe it was written by Guy Waldron and directed by Rod Amato. Either way, the original review was in episode 274 of the Muscle Car Place called Duke's Cast Number 1, 10 years ago.
Wow.
We did our review in January of 2024 in episode 285, 2 years ago. And today we go again full circle. Here's the show preview right here.
Nail 'em. Oh, crazy gooder talking. Turkey coming right down my alley.
I'm having a picnic. Which way to the beach?
I want those slot machines. Now we got them. We got them. I wish those Duke boys were on my side.
Happy birthday, Daisy.
Why, thank you, Anna.
Now get her out. Don't stand there, go get her! Yahoo! Welcome to Hazzard County.
There we go. These early George episodes they're hard for me to get used to. Like with the whole preview, like the
That's what I love, because it's like, I don't know, it's just where it started. You know, it's how it was intended to be.
That's interesting. All right, Bern, did you watch?
I did. I watched just before we went on the air tonight.
All right, Corndog, did you rewatch it?
I did. I watched it last night.
Okay. I also watched it. Brand new, once again. For our new listeners, now join us on YouTube, we have reviewed all 7 seasons of the Dukes of Hazzard on our audio podcast feed. Go back and find them on our website. You're going to find all the links you need below. It's available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora. It's probably in YouTube Music, too. We are now starting all over again to review our favorite episodes from all 7 seasons on video just for you. We also do automotive pop culture. I am Rob Kibbe, a longtime automotive podcasting know-it-all. He is Bernie McPartland, an automotive podcasting producer know-it-all. And he is Justin Cornett, an actual know-it-all, but pure of heart. Knows everything about the Dukes of Hazzard and generalese. You can get the full version of the show in the auto feeds, of course. Let's begin. The IMDb summary says, in the series pilot episode, cousins Bo and Luke Duke intercept Hazzard County Sheriff Roscoe P. Coltrane's illegal shipment of slot machines, then plan to use the proceeds to donate to the Hazzard County Orphanage in Roscoe's name to ensure his win in an upcoming election against a corrupt opponent.
So.
Long, but fairly accurate.
Yeah. I think it's okay. DVD summary. Sheriff Coltrane is hissier than a sack of rattlesnakes. He sets up a slot machine operation to fund his election, but a pair of 2 armed bandits, Bo and Luke, find a way to give the proceeds to charity. And for those of you who are new to DVDs used to come in a box. All right, here's my summary. This is the very first episode of The Dukes. It is significantly different than the last episode of The Dukes. In this version, it's more Smokey and the Bandit than the Waltons. Bo seems to be solely owning the General Lee. Luke is a selfish schmuck. Boss is more evil than greedy, and Uncle Jesse basically is the same. But for me, this is an episode for those Southern purists out there. But I'm not a Southern purist. I like it when it goes Hollywood. Anyway, this is the episode where Bo and Luke play Robin Hood and commit a criminal act against a criminal to give to the poor. This, of course, proves the statement that 2 wrongs can prove a right. Bo and Luke meet with Cooter in a Starsky and Hutch Torino, along with Blake Lively's dad. They rob a truck filled with slot machines, place them around the town, give to the money of the poor, give the credit to Roscoe, and he ended up getting reelected as a result. There are 3 General Lees used in this episode. Most of the scenes from the opening credits from the show run from this episode, and we'll all find out which General Lee came first. I give this one 10 perfect first flight corn dogs.
Sweet.
This is a good episode. This is a different episode. So if you're a fan of this show, we're a fan of the cars. We're a fan of everything about it. But we love the cars the most. And this series was originally written by Guy Waldron to be pretty similar in tone to Smokey and the Bandit.
Mm-hmm.
Very Southern. Everybody's really cocky and sure of themselves. There's lots of just ball breaking talk back and forth. They're robbing cars from sheriffs. I mean, that's the tone here. In season 7, there are aliens and robots. And and the only thing consistent through the whole series is that Uncle Jesse is the patriarch and the General Lee is the car that can do no wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But in this episode, even the general hasn't become the general yet. I mean, it looks like the same car, but it's not a hero yet, and it will be. I'd love to know for you, Corndog, out of the whole 120 some episodes, where does this particular one rank for you?
That's a good question.
Because you love these early Georgia ones, right?
I do. And I think we'll see, for example, like this storyline is a little bit harder to follow because it kind of, it's, I don't know. It's a lot of, I don't know, that like they need to fill in the blank some, because, they take the slot machines and then let's do this instead. And, we're going to end up flipping it and making it appear like it was Roscoe's idea the whole time. And, it's kind of a harder storyline to follow, if that makes sense. But the other Mary Kay's baby episode is kind of, it's kind of along this, but the rest of them I like, High Octane, Repo Man, Daisy's Song. I like the storyline on those better.
The first 5 episodes were shot. The series is supposed to be set in Hazzard County, Georgia.
Right, which is like a supposedly just outside of town of Atlanta.
The first 5 episodes, of which this is the first, were shot in where Conyers, Georgia.
Yeah, well they
Covington,
mostly
Georgia.
stayed. It was Covington, Oxford, Loganville, Social Circle. It's all just east of the Atlanta metro.
They have a different tone. They have a different look. And when this series was released, it was released to run at 9 p.m. at night, Eastern time on Fridays. And John Schneider, who played Bo Duke, talked about, I think it's called the ethics standard, a family-friendly and ethics standard, or something like that. And a show that played at 9 o'clock at night could be a little racier than a show that was at 8 o'clock at night. It's back when there were standards, right? We don't care about that.
I kind of wondered about that too, because I've heard him talking about that before. And so it airs at 9 o'clock. So that, you're past that threshold, that 9 o'clock threshold of when you can be a little bit more racy. Well, what about the people in the central time zone? Because it's only 8 o'clock there.
Well, that's where we were.
How does that work? I mean, I don't know if maybe I don't know.
I don't remember what my bedtime was when I was 4 years old, but it very well could have been 8. I don't know.
Yeah, but this particular episode, I guess, go back to your question. I would say it probably falls maybe right around the top 10.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's not top 5, I wouldn't say.
There's a lot to learn from this episode. So the gist of it is the Duke family is a tight family. It's 3 cousins living with an uncle. That lineage or a combination will never really ever clearly be explained throughout the whole series.
They'll hit little, clues here and there on what happened, with their parents and all that, but they never actually go through and give you the full lineage of what happened.
In this episode, you're introduced to Bo and Luke, and they're the main pair. But in this one, it's more of a Bo story. And if you only watch this episode, you kind of get the impression that Bo is the star of this show.
Right.
And you also get the impression that Bo owns the General Lee.
Yeah.
It's not said that, but it is indicated that his cousin Luke has his own car.
Mm-hmm.
Which, again, as you watch the whole series, you'll that doesn't make sense. They're a duo. You know, they are Kirk and Spock. You know, they're Butch and Sundance. I mean, they go together.
Right.
But not in this episode. In that perspective.
And also, when they do pull up in the junkyard to meet up with their friends, and Cooter, he makes the comment, "Y'all still driving this thing on the road?" So it really, you know, pinpoints the car as being more of a race car. You know, I mean, it has the loose image of a race car, but it's almost like it's more race car than it is daily driver.
Sure.
And they get away from, I mean, they still, you know, portray the car as the fastest car around and all that, but it's not as much as they do in this episode. Like, it's barely street legal is the way they kind of paint the picture.
And the sound effects are cool whenever they shift gears, which,
Yeah.
you know, they blip the throttle in between. There's all that. But let's talk about some stuff we wouldn't have normally done way back in the day. So the theme song. The theme song is called, I think it's called Good Old Boys, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
By Waylon Jennings. And this version is different than the one that was released to the public in 1980. This is a unique version, and it has a banjo player on it. And the banjo player was not featured on the released version. And this also has the TV stuff in it. Like the last lyric is fighting the system like two modern day Robin Hoods. And then you'll hear like yeehaw. The yeehaw and the yahoos, they will change throughout the 7 seasons a little bit here and there. During the Coy and Vance era, they will have their own, which kind of blows.
It's more Yahoo.
Yahoo. But that particular song for Waylon Jennings was a big deal. And I pulled this from his Billboard stats. In November 80, the theme from the Dukes of Hazzard called Good Old Boys became Waylon Jennings' 12th #1 country hit overall. The song spent 17 weeks on the Billboard Country Singles Chart and became the biggest hit on the Billboard Hot 100, peaking at number 21. Now, Baron, you're from the radio era. I don't know that you played country music, but did you ever spin this one?
I did spin it. I spin that song at a couple of country stations that I worked for in Central Texas. You call them small market stations, so they have a reach of 50 to 100 miles from the tower center over the AM band. And let's see. Yeah, I definitely remember on 45s on vinyl playing it. And then I actually, for a bunch of, I don't remember if I did that exact song, but you would take those and the new technology you could put them on these little 8-track looking tapes and play them like that. And you didn't have to use the needle anymore. You just hit the button and the song would play. So yeah. Old Burn's a country boy.
All right. Let's go through some other bigger points. John Schneider is 18 years old in here.
Mm-hmm.
He does not look like or act like one. And he and Tom Wopat have some massive chemistry. Like it's good for immediately. Like they play well together.
And at this point, he tells the story before of when he does the auditions. You know, he lied about his age because they wanted someone that was 21 or 24 or something like that. But I mean, he could pull that off easy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he hits the part, and at the time of this filming, I don't know if the producers even knew that he was 18 at this point.
Because he told him he was 24 years old and from Snailville, Georgia.
Yeah, something like that.
And that he had graduated from the Georgia School of High Performance Driving.
Right. Well, he's actually from New York.
Yeah.
But I would like to know at what point was he let the cat out of the bag that, hey, I'm actually 18 years old. And, of course, by that point they were too far in to recast. But like you said, they had awesome chemistry together.
We see several characters here. Boss Hogg. He is here. He runs the town. He's mean. He's not greedy, but kind of jovial. I mean, he's kind of mean. He also has that mole that is difficult to look at.
Yeah. I never understood that whole thing and how it just kind of boop went away.
Just disappear. Well, money will do that. Roscoe, competent, but greedy. Daisy's similar, but she's more southern than like debutante.
Mm-hmm.
Uncle Jesse is, at least to me, Uncle Jesse and Enos basically are the characters they are.
Yeah.
You don't know them very well, but they don't change that much.
They don't change that much throughout the whole series.
Cooter is very different. He is very dumb. He's a car genius, but he's certainly not a family member. Yeah, he just seems like a jackass a bit.
He kind of seems like a
just
like
dumb.
just drop out and troublemaker. And I think the first season he's kind of portrayed that way, and then he kind of cleans up his act a little bit, and more of an accomplice of the Duke boys. But right now he's kind of more
He's wild.
getting them into more trouble than they can do on their own.
Luke is kind of a selfish dick.
Yeah. Arrogant.
Yeah, not a good guy. But at least in this episode, Bo is the hero that you see that he's going to be a hero in there somewhere. Those are all the main characters. Did I leave any out?
No, you got.
Okay. The gist of the episode is Bo and Luke Duke find out that an illegal shipment of slot machines is coming into the county. They hijack it, and they use the proceeds to support the local orphanage. And they do this against the will of Uncle Jesse. He is a religious man. He does not like gambling. He is okay making booze, though. And as it is explained to you in this episode, it's okay to be making booze when there's a law against it, because that was a family tradition before there was a law. Plus, they paid taxes on the corn. That's how Uncle Jesse describes it.
And in a later episode in Georgia, he also is perfectly fine with retaliating on people's property.
Yeah, it does seem to play by his own set of rules.
Yeah.
Here is the new thing that I pulled out of this episode, this particular time. I had never heard this before, but I'll go ahead and play it for you guys right here. Tell me if you have any trouble hearing this segment.
The Duke family had been in the whiskey business 50 years before the Declaration of Independence. They fought everybody from the British to the Confederacy to the U.S. government to stay in it. Until last year when Bo and Luke got caught on a whiskey run. So Jesse swallowed a lifetime of pride. Signed a treaty with the U.S. government to stop making whiskey, if Bo and Luke could get probation. You see, he loved them boys better than life itself. But sometimes they really made him wonder why.
They fought everybody from the British government to the Confederacy to the U.S. government. I wasn't expecting them to fight the Confederacy. Why did they fight the Confederacy? I had never heard that before.
That's a good question.
Unless it's just law and order in general, and all government's bad.
You do get that impression that they just fight.
Law.
They fight the system, whatever the system is, and they're going to protect their land from whoever it is, even if that person might be the side they're fighting for. But
two modern day Robin Hoods, perhaps.
Sure.
Well, they honestly, they kind of fall along the same lines of the Hatfield and McCoys. They just kind of do their own thing, and they're not corrupt like the Hatfield and McCoys, but which I wouldn't really say corrupt, but they're not as bad as them, but close to.
Tainted.
Yeah.
The episode surrounds the problems of having slot machines and what eventually has to be done with them. But long story short is Bo and Luke take all the proceeds from it because Bo is hot to trot after the woman who's running the orphanage.
Mm-hmm.
And she is not stupid and realizes that his interest in her isn't really in supporting the orphanage. But nonetheless, he makes his best play, and the show ends with Roscoe getting reelected because he has been given the credit for providing the funds for the orphanage. Throughout the episode, though, there's a lot of just driving scenes and weirdness, and let's go ahead and talk about that. So I think Corndog will tell the story of the three generalees in here, but you see Bo and Luke meeting their friends in a junkyard, and one guy shows up in an El Camino, one guy shows up in a 69 Camaro, and then another guy shows up in a Starsky and Hutch Torino.
Yeah.
It's never explained why that is. They just have one.
Burt Reynolds never seems to get lost.
He's got a mustache.
Now, if there's one thing them old boys love better than a race on the track, it's a chase on the road.
Yeah, I mean, they did make a limited run of those cars, and I'm sure that was the case with this one. But I don't know if it was like a nod to Starsky and Hutch, or because when was Starsky and Hutch? That was on. I know it was prior to this, but how far prior was it? Like
I don't know.
76?
It may have been right at the same time. I'm not entirely sure.
It could have just been, just a local rental car, or someone that, they used a lot of local people and their cars. And so who knows, it may have just been one of the cameraman's car that he bought while he was there. Who knows? It's hard to say.
Ernie Lively is an actor who'll be in several Dukes episodes. I think his son is Jason Lively.
Mm-hmm.
I think. He is the kid that is squirting flies in the back of the General Lee. He is a half-sibling to Blake Lively.
Mm-hmm.
But he was definitely Rusty Griswold. And this is what he did as Rusty Griswold in European Vacation.
Dad, I think he's gonna pork her.
He's not gonna pork her, Rusty. Just eat, okay?
I think he is, Dad.
He may pork her, Russ. Just eat, okay?
Okay. That...
Was he talking about Bo and the orphanage lady, or was that on another?
No, it was from European Vacation.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I thought that was behind the scenes clip.
No, that was not
cut out.
Jason Lively will be in 2 episodes of the Dukes, playing 2 totally different characters. Also unique in this episode, of course, is the fact that we see the General Lee. And for those of you who are into this thing, there were 3 69 Chargers used in this episode to play the role of the General Lee. Corndog, what is Lee 1, Lee 2, and Lee 3?
Well, the easiest way to spot Lee 1 and 2.
And that's how they're labeled, right? Lee
Yes.
1, Lee 2, and Lee 3.
Lee 1, Lee 2, Lee 3. Lee 1 and 2 have the full cages, and Lee 3 does not. Lee 1 has the stainless rocker moldings, and that's of the 3. That's the only one that has the rocker moldings, so it sticks out. You see the car pulling into the boar's nest just before they pop the poster off of the wall and then go inside. So as it's pulling into the boar's nest there, you'll see the rocker moldings and say, okay, that's the car. And then it's also the same car that jumps over Roscoe's police car in front of Seeney Hall at Oxford College.
Which for those who've just seen the TV show for all the years, that's the last jump you see in the themes credits.
Right. And you see it, I think, in every single opening credits, it's except for the Coy and Vance episodes.
Yep.
And you see Lee 1 also, they're loading the slot machines in the back of it, and you can see the quarter panel caved in because this was done right after the car was jumped. And so while they're loading the slot machines in the truck, you can see the quarter panel just buckled. And then they climb into it and they act like they drive off. But the car was, at that point, probably pretty shot.
Sitting ducks, all set. Etcher, Roger.
And you also see Lee 1 in the off in the distance at the Duke's farm with the hood popped open, and they're tinkering under the hood when Uncle Jesse goes to the barn to get the eggs, and then he finds the slot machines.
Mm-hmm.
That's Lee 1 sitting in the background. So yeah, Lee 2. Oh, well, Lee 1 is a 383 car. Lee 2, I believe, is also a 383 car. Full cage car. That one, they're sitting in it while they're at the intersection. Everybody keeping an eye out for the fertilizer truck, and Bo and Luke are sitting in it. And you can see they're sitting lower in the car because I believe there's something different about that car as far as the seat. And I can't remember exactly what I heard about it, but I think the seat was removed in the passenger side. And so Luke is kind of sitting there on like a bucket, or he's sitting on a pillow or something. But they show the in-car view, like through the windshield, and you could see the back seat is missing, and you could see the roll cage going down.
It's huge.
Floor panel.
Like the header bar is like that far under the top of the windshield.
It ain't gonna work. Can't miss. What if it does work? What are we gonna do with all them slot machines? Well, never thought about that. You'll think of something.
Oh, crazy cooter talking, turkey coming right down my alley. Gobble, gobble.
I read you, Cooter. Did you copy that, Daisy? Cooter's on 421.
10-4.
Get it.
That car does a lot of work in this and all of the the early episodes. But it's there again. It was considered to be one of the stunt cars. Lee 1 and 2 were, and Lee 3 is it was, I guess, what you would consider the hero car. Like I said, it had the regular roll bar in it. It was let me see. It was a factory saddle tan interior car. Let me see. It was actually used for a lot of the early promo photos. So you'll see photos of Bo, Luke, and Daisy sitting on the General Lee, and the doors will be open. There won't be an 01 on the door. And they did all of those photos, the photo shoot. They did it at Griffith Park in Los Angeles. And then when they shipped the 3 cars out to Georgia, that's when the other cars were finished up, and the 01 was applied. And then I guess once they got out to Georgia and they got to reading the scripts and everything and the details of the car, then they realized, hey, the doors aren't going to be open. So they already did the photo shoot, so I don't guess they ever thought to go back and reshoot it. But
that's a unique car because it's saddle tan interior, and it's the right look. And for those that are in the know, it's a real RT car. It's a great car. This is 1978, though. That's not even a 10-year-old car at the time.
Right.
So while we're sitting here in 2026, think of this as like a 2017 Camaro or something. It's a relatively new car, by today's standards. Back then, of course, cars aged a little faster than they do now, in the grand scheme of things. But the generally, for the most part, looks like it's going to look. It's orange. It has numbers on the doors. It has a flag on the roof. It has vector wheels, and it has a push bar. And it's a 69. And that's basically the look. And we've documented kind of how it got that look as far as we know, obviously throughout the years in the audio show. But there were 3 cars. Now, there is a great debate about which car was actually first. Was E01 the first built or not? Do you know?
No. And they say, they, all the know-it-alls, basically, the truth is no one really knows, because no one has come out and said, hey, this specific car was built first. And, some people like to say Lee 3 was built first because it was the pretty hero car, and it was used for the promo shots and all this kind of stuff, and then sent out there, and then the other cars were done. But that doesn't really make sense, because they built the 3 cars in California, shipped them to Georgia, and they weren't numbered 1, 2, and 3 at that point. Supposedly they did not get numbered 1, 2, and 3 until they were sitting at the hotel parking lot, and before they started filming, one of the crew members, transportation coordinator or whoever it was, the 3 cars are lined up. They go, okay, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, just like that. So, but also when they build movie cars or production cars, and there's an order for 3 cars, they're going to go get the 3 cars. They're going to park them. They're say, okay, let's buzz them all down. Let's paint them. And the 3 cars will be built simultaneously. So you can't really say one was finished before the other and back and forth. They're all finished about the same time, loaded on the truck and shipped over to Georgia. And that's how it works.
Who is credited with coming up with the design for the car?
Supposedly Guy Waldron and the producers. And we've talked about this before, how even the early scripts don't even give an exact of the car that's used for the generally. Or the color. They mentioned gray. They mentioned red.
Some mentioned Camaro, a Trans Am.
Yeah, Trans Am. And basically they went back to, okay, let's talk about NASCAR, stock car. What's
Dirt
popular,
track.
what's going to do what we need for it to do for the storyline, and they went with a Dodge Charger.
Here in Iowa, there's a track called Hawkeye Downs, and back in the day it was dirt, and there was a famous Iowa racer who ran Chargers, many year Chargers, and I wanted to say it was a Holman Moody prepped car, but I could be wrong on that, but it was a real Hemi equipped late model. And that's what it was called back in the day. It was a late model. But I'm telling you, when you looked at that thing, it was a 69 Charger with a push bar on it. And whether that was a mandated thing or something that Ernie Durer, who I think was driving it, put on it, it did have a push bar. And it's not a big stretch to say that was just a late model dirt car. Obviously it's made for TV and it has an interior and stuff, and it doesn't have a Hemi under the hood, and you can't crank the torsion bars as you drive, but like you get in a real late model. But
and the wheel openings aren't,
they're
hogged
not
out.
Radius and all that, but it's not a huge stretch. I thought I'd read Don Schisler was someone that may have had. There's too many names that go out there, and I think, as you shared, nobody really knows for sure. If it's written somewhere or proven, we're not aware. We'd love to be made aware. But as far as we know, there's no concrete proof one way or the other that says who designed it, who gets all of the credit. It seems to have been a joint effort. Whoever came up with it, good on you. This car has stood the test of time. It is still the most Hollywood recognized vehicle in existence.
Yeah, and Don Chischler, he was the transportation coordinator in Georgia, and the cars came to him already done. And so he basically had to orchestrate all of the buying and building of other cars and keeping them, up to, specs so that they can be used the next day. And hired a local shop, H&H Body Shop, and it was in Snellville, Georgia. And, they, Coleman and his crew, they basically worked 24/7, keeping these cars up and going.
Mm-hmm.
And, they're all young guys in the body shop business. And so, they did whatever they needed to do to stay awake pretty much 24 hours a day and keep these cars up and going.
You mean drugs?
No, man. They just, slept while they were working. In between body filler curing and paint drying and...
So drugs.
Yeah, something like that.
All right. Well, in the end, we got our very first episode, the first of 5, and we're going to do all the other Georgia episodes right here on the YouTube channel as we go forward. But this particular one is the 3 Georgia Lees. And throughout the years of the Dukes of Hazzard, there are phases of General Lees. And the Georgia Lees are the ones that you see right here in this very episode.
Mm.
They have a unique look. They all have side marker lights. They have a little push bar in the front. For the most part, they all have a saddle interior, or they're supposed to. And only one has rocker moldings that you'll see. Now, as the series goes on, especially in the second and third season when the cars were being produced quickly, everything sometimes just got painted. You'd see all sorts of General Lees with painted over rocker moldings. But on this one, it's very distinctive. This one is the one that was found and restored and sold at Barrett-Jackson. How much of it was the same car is debatable. But it is this one. And whether it was the first General Lee build or not, we don't know.
And it was also, argued that it was the first one jumped. And, that goes back and forth. And really, Craig Baxley jumped both cars. And so if anyone would know, he would be the one. If he was the pilot of both cars that jumped, that was argued back and forth which one jumped first. It's Lee 1 and then Lee 2 jumped on Elm Street in Covington, right next to I think it was a fertilizer plant or something, across the railroad tracks and then going down the hill at the opening scene. And Craig Baxley will tell you that was the first time he jumped a General Lee, was going down the hill across the railroad tracks. So there's your nail in the coffin of which one was jumped first.
Okay.
But it sounds better. It sounds better to say, hey, Lee 1 jumped first. It was built first. It was, the best of the best, but, if you don't have a dog in the race and you have nothing to gain from it, then, let's look at facts and talk to the people who actually did it. So,
also in this episode, references to cousins marrying.
Yeah.
Being okay with that. Daisy Duke wearing a bikini, not for the last time. That seems to be a winning touch in here. Roscoe swears.
Roadrunner.
Daisy has a Roadrunner. Roscoe swears. He says, damn.
Yeah.
It's strange. There are several good social channels out there that document other vehicles that are used in this episode that have made their way into other Hollywood productions. We'll do our best to reference those here, but there's a great plethora of information out on the internet. Overall, though, it's episode number 1. It sets the stage, and we'll cover all the rest of them here. Now, most of our episodes reviews are a little shorter and more funny, but this one is just littered with details. There's one other super nerdy one that you told me about, the gas cap bezel.
Yeah.
None of them have one.
Right.
I don't know why they don't have one. They don't have one. They also have vinyl top trim on all of the cars, even though they have no vinyl tops.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know. The Dixie horn that you hear in here was something that the producers heard from a local car. And I assume it was put in, through sound effects. But I did hear one when the General Lee's pulling into the junkyard and you hear it playing the horn. I've done this on my own car before because it's an air-driven horn. If you hold the button down too long, it'll go da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And if you keep holding the button down, it just starts over.
Right.
Then you can
and then the
you
next
hear it
time,
in here, and it starts where it left off.
Yeah. So that was kind of interesting to me that they, they actually left it that way or didn't go back and, correct it. So it makes you kind of wonder how the audio was actually added in.
There's a jailbreak in here. We meet Enos Strait, Hazzard County's oldest version.
Some of his personal life, get into some of that.
Yep. Luke may have fathered several children in the orphanage. It's not an episode that really lines up with later seasons, but whatever. What's your rating of this episode? I already gave it 10.
Oh, I'd definitely give it a 10.
How about you,
It's
Bern?
not my favorite Georgia episode, but it has enough stuff there to, make it a 10. I'll watch it over and over countless times.
I look forward to knowing your favorite. Bern, what's your rating of this episode?
I'm going to give it a 10 also, but probably for a different reason than you guys are. I'll give it a 10 because it is a wonderful place setter for what's to come in the series. Yes, it's going to change, and yes, it's going to develop, but you have to start somewhere. And this episode does a great job of telling the story, defining the characters, getting you ready for what's coming. Get lots of room in the episode for growth. A lot of room in the story to develop characters. And that's why it's really, really good to me.
It gets better, right?
It does.
It'll get better.
It gets lots better.
All right.
Yeah, the Georgia episodes are always my favorite just because, growing up in Georgia, the landscape, I can really relate with that because, November towards January, that's pretty much how it looks.
There are
Georgia.
Christmas decorations out in this episode.
Yeah.
In the town square. I like it when they go Hollywood. I like it on the Hollywood backlots. I like California scenery to pretend it's Georgia. I like it when there's
smog in the air.
Yeah, it's just more Hollywood make-believe wholesome. That's just me. I'm a dreamer. All right, everybody, that is Season 1, Episode 1, called One Armed Bandits, the Dukes of Hazzard. We'll be back next week with more Dukes episodes. Hopefully, if you saw this in the YouTube edit, we showed as many pictures and video clips as we possibly could. We're going to try to keep doing that more. If you'd like to listen to the audio version of the show, it is in the show notes. Go to Apple Podcasts or go to themusclecarplace.com for all the links you could possibly ever need. Bern, anything before we go?
I believe we're good. I'm excited to be here for a brand new year. We're going to have a lot of fun repurposing and redoing things that we've been doing and doing them with lots more fun and lots more intention. It's going to be a blast. I hope you'll come along with us.
Repurposing? This is hard work.
It is hard work.
Did it all again.
We've been doing it for real.
We're just going back and polishing it a little bit better.
10
There's
years
your
and counting.
wordsmith right there.
Yes.
Repolishing.
Copy and pasting. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. Happy New Year, and see you next week. Bye-bye.
So that's the legend of how Sheriff Roscoe helped save the orphanage and made gambling respectable in Hazzard County. Of course, he had a little help.